Right, let's get this started, and we begin with the Malindi by-election. And claims of planned election rigging and voter bribery have emerged as campaigns ahead of the March 7th by-election continue to gather momentum in Malindi constituency. ODM leaders led by Governors Amason Kingi and Hassan Ali Joho pitched tent in the constituency, urging voters to remain vigilant and report individuals going around buying voters.
Asema William Tengo tosha. William Tengo. William Tengo.
With just 1 week left before voters in Malindi constituency head to the polls, campaigns have hit fever pitch. The opposition coalition CORD has intensified campaigns for ODM candidate William Tengo.
Hawa wale tangu zamani, tangu 1963 ni wale wabadilisha fulana, majina ni yale wale, watu ni hao wanaotoka ni kule.
The ODM camp already raising the red flag over what they term as attempts by the Jubilee side to buy off voters ahead of the much anticipated by-election.
Hatutakubali ujanja wowote wa kura ya Malindi. Na wale ambao wanaletwa huku mashinani kupiga hodi katika nyumba zetu, katika maboma yetu, kutafuta kura na kuzinunua, kuchukua vitambulisho wa wananchi na kununua vitambulisho. Ukipatikana huku, wananchi mfanya nini? Mutafanya nini?
The by-election, which has already attracted 7 candidates, has largely been seen as a two-horse race between Jubilee Alliance Party's Philip Charo and ODM's William Tengo.
Lakini William Tengo na hakika kwa sababu hakufadhiliwa na waizi wa mashamba, hawezi hata siku moja kukubali mashamba yenu yaibiwe. Hawezi. Na sisi tutasimama naye tumfundishe siasa ya ungangari. Ile siasa ya kusema hakuna lolote.
The Malindi seat fell vacant after ODM MP Dan Kazungu was appointed to the cabinet as mining CS in November last year. Timothy Otieno, KTN News.
KANU leaders have accused their Jubilee counterparts of attempting to impose a candidate on the Kericho County electorate. Led by Jubilee rebels in the region, Bomet Governor Isaac Ruto and Nandi Hills MP Alfred Keter, the KANU leaders said the mini polls will chart a new political course for the region. But as KTN's Murimi Mwangi now reports, the Jubilee camp has accused KANU counterparts of using the Kericho campaigns to place roadblocks on Deputy President William Ruto's road to the presidency in 2022.
As the race to the official clash between the Jubilee camp and the Jogo Brigade in Kericho gets to the home stretch, KANU leaders traversed Soin Sigowet constituency, drumming up support for KANU candidate Paul Sang, on the ground that their Jubilee counterparts are trying to impose 30-year-old Aaron Chariot on the Kericho electorate during the March 7th by-election.
Tunapenda mheshimiwa rais, tunapenda mheshimiwa naibu wa rais, lakini wao sio kazi yao kutafuta mtu ambaye ataingia Senate. Wao wangoje watu wa Kericho wapeleke yule ambao ataingia kule Senate.
Saba tunapiga kura KANU sisi wote. Wangapi wanakubali na sisi? KANU juu.
Brina quick rejoinder, RGCS Charles Keter, who is the immediate former Kericho senator, led the Jubilee onslaught against KANU at Kipkelion, where they persuaded Kericho voters to endorse the JAP candidate to affirm the unity of the South Rift behind Deputy President William Ruto and as a gesture of goodwill to the youth.
Deputy President akona less than 7 years. Awe president wa Kenya, sisi Kalenjin tukishikana na tunasema hii ndio njia na tunafuata.
Maneno ya 2017 2022 tunataka maneno ya sahihi. Mtupatie ile kwanza ndio tupige kura ila 2017.
Naomba tarehe 7 pige hiyo candidate wetu anaitwa Aaron Cheriot kura.
The March 7th by-election has rekindled the supremacy war between the Jubilee coalition and the Independence Party KANU, which has now the backing of key Jubilee rebels in the region. Murimi Mwangi, KTN News, Nairobi.
A boarding school operating in deplorable condition has been closed down in Mombasa. The school, which is situated in Majengo Mpya in Likoni, had its students cramped up in one room and sitting on the floor during lessons. The teachers who fled after seeing officials from the Mombasa County Quality Assurance did not have any teaching qualifications.
This is a learning institution situated in Likoni, Mombasa County. Bedding and uniforms can be seen scattered all over on the ground. And when you get inside, a sorry state of children cramped up in a tiny room. The students, both young and old, donning tattered uniforms and in home clothes, looked confused seated on the floor, with none of them knowing the whereabouts of their teachers.
Skuli yenyewe inasema inasaidia watoto yatima, imetoa watoto kutoka Malindi, imetoa watoto kutoka Marafa wapi, lakini ukiangalia mazingara ni mali hata ng'ombe hafai ng'ombe hafai kufugwa pale.
Mombasa County Education Quality Assurance has intensified routine assessments across all the 6 sub-counties to assess what is taught meet the ministry's standards. Kiambu said children in the school learn both integrated curriculum from 8 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. and then embark on Islamic learning until 6 p.m. But none of the 8 trainers is a qualified teacher.
Tunataka kuambia wazazi, tafadhali, kuna watu nakuja wengi wanasema wanataka kusponsor watoto hapa, kusponsor watoto pale. Tafadhali kuja uangalie mali mtoto wako anakuwa sponsored. Mazingara ya mtoto wako. Usikubali tu ati mtu anakuja kusponsor mtoto na kumbe yotengeneza pesa kutoka kule na huku watoto wako wanafanya nini? Wanadhulumiwa. Hiyo haifai kuwa hapa Kenya.
The unregistered school with 120 pupils has been operating for 3 years. One of the class teachers, identified as David, fled after the officials demanded registration certificates of the school and his credentials. Najma Ismail, KTN News.
Catholic Archbishop Peter Kairu has asked leaders involved in the NYS scandal to set the right example by admitting any wrong they have committed and return the funds to the state. The Archbishop was presiding over a ceremony for the setting up of a shrine and a chapel at Gikondi Catholic Church in memory of the beatified Saint Irene Nyatha Stefani. Take a look.
Do to others as wish them do to you. So if we love one another, I cannot cheat. Neither can I take some that does not belong to me and I use it as my own. And that's the reason why I can fight against corruption.
A pious statement from members of the Catholic clergy asking leaders implicated in the NYS scandal to face up to their actions. The leaders were speaking at an event to launch the construction of a shrine at the site of what used to be Sister Irene Nyatha Stephanie's home in Gikondi, Mukurweni.
So it's only when one is humble, meek and humble, then I can admit my mistakes, I apologize, then I promise not to amend what I have done. And if I have stolen, then I should bring back what I have stolen back to the state or to the company that I say I have stolen.
The shrine offers an opportunity for both local and international pilgrims to visit the site for prayers and tour Sister Irene Nyatha's home. Construction of the shrine and chapel is expected to start next week and will be modeled around the original structure in which she lived 86 years ago. Contributions were made to the cause by well-wishers including Marielis and James Weru, pilgrims who travelled all the way from Germany. Father Githinji urged the government to also get involved in the construction and marketing of the shrine as it is a tourist attraction.
It's coming to benefit not only the Christians but our country, our Africa. It is not only a local shrine where Sister worked with the natives who nicknamed her Nyatha. No, it's an international thing.
Trix Ingado, KTN News.
Wiper Movement Party held the National Executive Committee meeting this morning at the party's headquarters in Lavington. And we're now joined live by our reporter Murimi Mwangi from our City Centre studio for the details on what took place. Murimi, thank you very much for joining us. Maybe you can tell us what was the agenda of that particular meeting?
Good afternoon, Betty. Of course, the key agenda for the Wiper leaders that were meeting today was to appoint an executive director for the Wiper Party. And that position, of course, was clinched today by Dr. Jared Maaka-Siso, a seasoned scholar in medical matters, but one who has a history of doing some very good research, not only in the issues of health, but also on various social economic issues. But of course, the big duty that awaits the new executive director of the Wiper Party is, of course, to put the secretariat of the party in order. Again, also to possibly crack the whip on rebel Wiper legislators, some of who have been accused of seeming to be affiliated to the ruling coalition. But of course, analysts would argue that it's not an affiliation to the Jubilee coalition per se, but a close dalliance with rebel Machakos Governor Dr. Alfred Mutua. So of course, he has a duty, a critical one, to crack the whip on these rebel MPs and again put the Wiper House in order ahead of the 2017 general election. But the statement today from the Secretary General of the Wiper Party, who also happens to be the Mombasa Senator, Mr. Omar Hassan, was that starting from next week, all elected leaders drawn from the Wiper Party are expected to undertake a massive grassroots mobilization exercise to sensitize the supporters of the party across the country to register as voters in the ongoing exercise that, of course, is set to close by the 15th of this month. That means in the next 2 weeks, it's going to be quite a critical task for them. But again, even the ongoing campaigns for the Malindi by-election did feature in that statement from the Wiper leaders today. And they say that they'll be camping in Malindi to make sure that the CORD coalition clinches that seat. Of course, clinching that seat would be a plus for the CORD coalition, given that it's only 17 months to the next election. But if I may touch a bit on the voter registration exercise that is set to be undertaken, or the mobilization exercise from the Wiper leaders, it seems that Dr. Jared will have a critical duty to ensure that this actually happens, because in the past, the Ukambani base of the CORD coalition has been accused of having so many potential voters, but very few of them turn out to register. You remember earlier last month, during the national meeting of the Wiper leaders in Machakos, that was one of the key issues that was raised by most of the speakers there, especially now that by the end of this month, the three CORD core principals are supposed to officially nominate who is going to be the official flag bearer for the coalition with regards to the presidency, as that agreement that they signed in 2013 happens to expire later this month. So it's quite an interesting task that is ahead for Dr. Jared Maaka Siso, who is the new executive director of the Wiper Party. Betty.
Right, Muringi, just before I let you go, like you mentioned, it's an interesting problem that he has. But how exactly is he going to go about the mobilization of people for the voter registration? You know, IEBC just a few days ago said that, you know, they're still not getting to that point, that mark that they had hoped to get, you know, every single day they go out for this exercise. So how is he going to do it differently so that they get the numbers?
Now, all the elected leaders, be it MCAs, MPs, senators, and even those nominated on the Wiper ticket, are expected to undertake mobilization from the grassroots. That means they might have to hold public barazas in the villages out there to mobilize the supporters in the perceived Wiper strongholds to turn out and register in large numbers. Remember, the CORD coalition is banking on a very big turnout in 2017 to clinch the presidency, which they lost in 2013. So it's quite a task that now falls on the hands of the various leaders from the grassroots across the country who are elected on the Wiper Party ticket or nominated on the same in the county assemblies, in the National Assembly, and of course the Senate. Betty.
Right. Thank you very much, Murimi Mwangi. They're reporting from our City Center studio on that Wiper NEC meeting that was held